STEM Club Parachute Adventures. I'm Sandy, and today we're going to take a couple of common household items and we are going to make a fun little parachute that you can use either indoors or outdoors to fly things around. You should have already picked up your take and make bag that will have everything in it that you need for this project. Let's get started. Take and make bag, you're going to find a plastic bag, a plastic cup with the holes already punched in it, some string, and a tape measure. You will need from home a pair of scissors and a pencil or a marker or something just to mark some lines on the bag. And so the first thing that we'll do is we'll take our bag and we'll fold it out like this, and it doesn't matter which side you use. I'm just using this side because there is a little bit of writing on the other side, but if that doesn't bother you, you can use the other side. You're going to take your tape measure, and with this tape measure, all you need to do is pull out to get it to come out and get your measurements. And if you want to put it back in, there's a little button right here on the side, and you can push it in. Just keep your fingers out of the way. So what we're going to do with our plastic bag is we're going to cut a 14-inch square. So I'm going to start with the left side here, and I'm going to put my tape measure on 0, and I'm going to measure out 14 inches. And then once I get it out to 14 inches, which is right here, I don't know if you can see the 14, but we're gonna cut 14 inches. So we put the 0 on the left edge of the bag, find our 14-inch mark, and then I'm gonna take my pencil and just mark a little line. And again, you could use a marker or whatever you have handy. My pen didn't work very well with this. I had better luck with a pencil. So that's my first mark. And then I'm going to take this edge, and again, we're going to make it a square, so all of our sides are going to be even. So I'm going to start with the 0 down in this corner, and I'm going to measure up, I'm going to measure up 14 inches, and I'm going to make a mark here, and then I'm going to take along my mark that I made, my first mark that I made, and I'm going to measure out 14 inches again. And what I'm going to do is draw some lines so I have a line to cut. So you'll just take your pencil, run it down, get your finger out of the way, run it down the bag so that you can see the marks. Oops, that wasn't very straight. And then just, I'm going to mark it this way. And the bag's kind of tricky, so you just kind of have to hold it down while you're making your mark. And then I'm going to go back and find my mark here. And again, hold the bag and your tape measure and just mark your bag so that you have, kind of a straight line to cut against. And once you've made those 2 lines, on this side, your lines will meet. And then we'll cut open the bag on this side. So I'm just going to take my scissors and cut my plastic bag. Keep it as smooth as possible. Okay, so we'll just take our scissors, cut along our marked lines, when we get to our cross line. And it's kind of faint, so you may have a hard time seeing it, but we'll just cut. All right, and then this part of the bag we're done with, so you can throw that away. And yes, my cuts are a little jaggy, but that's okay. And then we'll take and we'll cut right along this fold line on both of the sides. And you're going to end up with actually 2 squares, so if you have another cup and you wanted to make another parachute, you certainly can do that. And just cut along that line. And now we've got a square. So our next, or close to a square, my cuts aren't real straight, but our next step is to take the string and we're going to cut 4 lengths of string, yarn, whatever you have, and we're going to cut those 14 inches as well. So you're going to cut 4 pieces. So take your ruler, put your string on the 0, and measure out to 14 and make a cut. And you're going to end up with 4 pieces of string. So start at the 0, measure out 14 inches, make a cut. That gives us 2. There's 3. And start my string at 0, measure to 14, cut, and now we're done with the string and the tape measures. You can fold that back up. The next step is to take your string and just take a corner, take your string, tie a knot in it, and then tie another knot just so it stays on the corner of your plastic. Okay, just like that. Take one string and leave. You want to tie a string on each of the 4 corners, and you want to leave one end unattached. So we'll tie here. We'll just keep tying our knots. So I've got 2 corners done. I'll take my 3rd corner. Tie my knots. There's 3 corners, and I've got 1 length of string left. I'll take my 4th corner, tie it up, and then we've got that step done. And then you're going to take your cup, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we punched 4 holes in the cup for you. So you'll just take your string and you're going to put 1 string in each of the holes and make a knot just like we did on the corner of the plastic. So just pull it through the hole, tie it in a little knot, try to keep your lengths as close to the same as possible. If you need help with your knots, ask an older sibling or an adult in your household to help you. And when you're putting your string, make sure that you don't cross strings when you're tying. Like, I don't want to take this string and tie it over on this side of the cup. The strings need to be free. So I tied this one here, so I just want to find the next hole. And put it through. Tie my knot. Shoot. My fingers are a little fumbly here, but we'll get it. Okay, there's 3 of our 4 knots. And there's my hole. All right, and hopefully you can see how my strings don't cross each other. And we'll get this last knot tied. And then we should be able to demonstrate. Alright, so we're going to take our parachute, might have to turn it inside out, but there you can see, hopefully, how the strings don't cross, that they're all attached to the bag, the 4 corners of the bag, into the cup. And then what you'll do is you'll go to the top of a stairs, or even just stand up and drop your parachute, and it should float to the ground. You can even try putting things in your basket to see how much it'll hold. And that is the steps to make your parachute. So some of the science behind what we're doing with the parachute involves gravity, which we all know gravity is the force that keeps people on the ground and keeps pulling things from the air to the ground. And with the parachute, because of the plastic bag, the plastic fans out, and that creates air resistance, which slows the fall of the object, or our parachute in our little basket, which is the plastic cup. It slows it tremendously, which reduces the amount of impact that your parachute has when it reaches the ground. And what I mean by that is if you just drop your cup without the parachute on it, it's going to fall immediately to the ground and crash. With the parachute, that plastic opens up and it creates resistance or drag, slowing the fall of the plastic cup and reducing the impact on the ground. Thank you for joining us today for Virtual STEM Club Parachute Adventures. I hope you had fun building your little parachute, and I would love to see any of your adventures doing the project. You can share them with us at the email address coming across the screen. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.